I try to teach with the ultimate in edutainment. I want it to be engaging. I want it to be fun. I want kids to be laughing and doing so much work they don't even realize what they're doing. And like that level of comfort academically you don't see very often, but why not? Why can't English or math or anything be fun?
Like, you don't go in and listen to lectures that are boring. He always brings in some crazy thing that happened to him, or he just, you know, yells or like makes it fun to listen to, and he's not just lecturing like blah, 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 blah.
You know, he just kind of makes you feel really at ease. You know, it's very a casual setting, and I think that's a good change from, especially at such a competitive school like this. It's a really good change from sort of the learning environment that I'm used to, at least, where it's super rigorous and it's super just, you know, super serious.
I think that my teaching style is this sort of edutainment that's fun, that's moving, it's unpredictable, it's structured. There's total structure. I mean, I have units planned, I have culminating assignments, I have reading assessments that I've planned, but what you get to day in class for me is just different, at least as I've learned from students, than you get in other classes. And the difference is that I lead with a very contemporary, modern, jovial spirit, where I want to entertain you and I want to edutain you. And I want you to leave here feeling good, at least that you learned something new, hopefully. And if I can accomplish that, get a thumbs up.
Because of Mr. Smith's, you know, improvisation skills and his singing skills, I always just like the look on the faces of the students when he starts singing in the middle of class, and they're like, where's he going with this? And then all of a sudden he turns this incredible song about like First Amendment rights, just like that. And I say, you know what? I'm not gonna sing, but he summed it up exactly how I would have.
We're gonna go through these sheets. It's gonna be how to write an introduction. It's gonna be how to write a paragraph. It's gonna be how to write a conclusion. If you follow this, you cannot possibly fail. If you deviate from this, do it in a way that's better than what you're seeing. Yes, not worse. Always do better. If I owe you $100, I give you $200. You gonna tell me? No. Yeah, exactly. You're so dishonest. I had a lot of role models who, you know, kind of hustlers. They did 1 or 2 jobs or 3 jobs. I remember this woman on a block having 3 jobs. She worked all the time, and she always had a smile on her face. And so it kind of made me think, wow, what's different about this lady versus the guy down the block who I know doesn't have a job, but he has money? I wonder what that guy's doing, you know? And I knew what that guy was doing. I knew exactly what that guy was doing. He was the absolute local neighborhood drug dealer. That's who he was. And that was his job. Call him a street pharmacist, whatever you want. But I quickly chose, I saw that man get arrested. I saw. So as a kid, I totally shifted my ideas. I thought, you know, drug dealers are untouchable. They have a lot of power. They're very fierce. They're threatening. Not people you really want to associate with. And then I had other examples. Mr. You know, Johnny, the store owner, you know, this guy, a black business owner, good role model, always telling us, stay in school, make sure you do your homework, make sure you study, here, take a piece of candy. Always letting families who didn't have, you know, kind of pay them back when they can. So I saw these wonderful examples, and it made it, each example that I saw that I liked was because a person had valued education. And each example that I did not particularly like or was not fond of, that person lacked an education. So I made a connection quickly that I wanted to be as educated as possible, formally and informally, just across the board. Because street smarts is one thing, and definitely something you need. You ever go to Europe, you better brush up on the street smarts, right? And academic smartness or intelligence is something that we seek in order to provide a lifestyle that we want to live. And I live the lifestyle, very blessed, that I do today. Yay, education.
I strategically chose literature and English because you can explore anything. And the idea that I wouldn't be stuck just exploring this one thing excited me. And so I went after that, and I was excited about doing it, and there's no wonder that I'm still excited to this day.
The hardest part of this job is making and creating a classroom where students feel safe enough to contribute. Because if they don't, they won't. And I see it. I see it in classroom where that kid, I'm like, that kid is smart as hell, doesn't raise their hand for 40 minutes. And I'm like, I know you have something to say. Doesn't feel like they have a platform to say it on. So I lead with that. From the gate, my kids are having fun, and they're like, is it going to be like this all the time? I'm like, pretty often. And they're like, yes.
I had him freshman year, and I really knew nothing about English. I went to a middle school with a lack of an English department, and he really helped me to grow through English, and he's inspired me so much just to become a better writer and just to become a better student.
I like it because what you're using are these smaller examples that people will just overlook and not view as being perfect for what you're arguing. But I think what you got to do is now categorize all those of looking at the little things that people do leading to bigger things or some larger thing. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes if you do say good morning to someone, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It really does, believe me. Or if you say hi to that person who's on the park bench crying, not to like sit down and like, well, I want to coach you. It's like, no, just hi. Just that somebody acknowledges their presence in the world matters. So
He's got a lot of empathy for students, and students need empathy. Like I would say myself, I don't have a whole lot of empathy, but his ability to connect with students and make a difference in students' lives, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And I really find watching him do that, it's just like, wow, I mean, we need teachers like that.
I recall one story in particular because it was a direct challenge on whether I would really do what I said I would do. And I had these brothers who I will remain unnamed. One was a freshman and was in my survey class, and one was a junior and in my American Lit class. I noticed a similar pattern with homework. Then I noticed a similar pattern with reading. Then I got concerned. So I pulled them out the same day, again, different classes. I said, hey man, if I don't get this essay, I'm gonna come to your house and sit at your table and make you write the essay. And part of me was just, jiving. Again, I got my top hat on. I'm just, come on, do you want, put this thread out there. But when I said it, another student, one of his buddies said, hey man, he'll do it. And he said, no, he won't. And I don't know why, but it was like a hook in a fish mouth. He said, no, you won't. And I was like, I'm gonna go to that kid's house. And I've never done this before. This is stuff you read about in movies or you see. But the brother came and he hadn't had his work either. And I just thought, these guys think I'm joking. Oh, okay. So I go to their house. Straight up, knock on the door and no one's home. So I wait. I wait for about 30 minutes and these two little boys, if you saw the looks on their faces, were beside themselves. What are you doing here? Why? Didn't I tell you I would come to your house and sit down with you? Mom walks up and she invites me in and we have a wonderful little powwow. She brings out a spread of food, of water. These kids are writing their essays and I help them with about half the essay and tell them I expect you to see the rest of it in my hand by tomorrow. And both of them had it. I never had to go to great lengths to get another assignment from either one of those kids again.
I absolutely love to see my students smile because it means that they're having a good time in some capacity. And that to me is very rewarding. The most rewarding part is when you guys leave, when students leave and they go out into the world and they apply all this knowledge that they've soaked up and learned and been thrown in their face and they do something with that. I love it.
To sum it up, it's like you go through life. I mean, you get old like me. You go through life and you realize how many people like you've met, and you kind of ask yourself like, how many of those people that I've met, are actually like what I would, describe as like, God, this person is a really, really like worthwhile person. Like, it was worth it to meet him. It was worth it to stay connected. It was worth it to like be, develop a friendship with him. And Mr. Smith is all about worthwhile.
Some anonymous student decided to rap battle Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I rap battled Mr. Smith. Yeah, he told me he'd give me an A in the class if I won. Got a B.
Freestyling, then I hear a knock at my door. That's how you know the flow is real. Y'all cats really bore me, so I make it exciting. We get to fighting, enticing. You mess with me, but no invitation. You're not inviting. Where's the Evite? Obey my thirst when I drink Sprite. You don't want to fight your boy. Tonight's the night that I do it better than anybody else. I'm sorry, but I just can't help myself.